Alright, Gary in Michigan. He's the first one to get one out of the new case that I got of these, so thanks for the pre-order. Where's my other? Just 1 second. I think I got these like last week or something. I just haven't even opened them up yet or anything, but these come a long way to me. I can get them from various supply sources, but this one, they got some in and they have a good option for so much. You buy so much, they give you free freight. So the freight can be kind of expensive on a box like this. Each one of these weighs a good amount. And then when you got, you know, five radios in here, you know, the freight adds up. Every little bit helps. Bring the cost down on the radios a little bit. So I like to get them sometimes from these guys because they help me out with that. But you have to buy, like, one of these boxes obviously qualifies, but you could buy other stuff too and make it. So, you know, sometimes in these boxes they get a little, the corner ones get a little hit. This one looks okay. It's nothing you can really do about that, unfortunately. It's just the way it is. But what do we got here? 046 through what is that? 406 through 410. So we'll just grab this one for you. The other four, they're available to be pre-ordered right now on the website. So I'm doing pre-orders right now because that just makes it easier for me to manage my stock. And you pre-order one, I get it ready for you, and I ship it out when time's convenient. Usually I have it on the site. I think it says like 7 business days or something. So I'm actually ahead. He got this for me yesterday. So I like to give myself a little leeway though, because I get busy with other things. This isn't my main thing here, is doing this radio stuff. Alright, so just to clarify, these do come with a PC programming cable. It's the newer style. I think all the radios, if it has it, it's going to have this different looking one. I say newer style because I'm used to using the different one. I've never actually used one of those newer style ones. I'm sure they work fine, but what I mean by the newer style is I use this one. It's just a little bit different looking one. It still does the same job, so I call that more rounded. This one over here, it's a little more like, you know, different shaped. So again, I recommend it to Stryker that possibly they could figure out a way to put some, instead of just this, maybe they should have the factory put like a whole protective sleeve over the front that is this material, but like the whole thing's covered, and also on the back. I don't know if they'll do it or not. It's just something I recommended. Alright, keep in mind you got a plastic film over the whole face. It will start to bubble up over time. You can see it's bubbled up right there. So if you peel that off, then it's kind of like, that's the screen protector basically. I'm not sure if there's anything on this. I don't think I'm not sure if it covers the LCD. Maybe it does, I don't remember. I don't think I ever peeled the one off the one I have, the normal 955, not the V1, but I sold the V1 that I had to my one friend down in Ohio, but I did keep a V2, and I never peeled the film off, so I'm not sure. I've never done it. Alright, so we got it Mars enabled, whatever you want to call it. Whoops. So we're all set there. You just add the jumper. I put a 0 ohm in there, but I actually don't like those 0 ohms that I ordered. I had to order some different ones, but they're just too wide. They do the job, but I just don't like them. So you could use a piece of wire, it doesn't really matter. You can see you got everything. The 12 meter is on this radio too, but it's not accessible from the band. You have to go into the VFO or program it via PC programming. So that's something that, you know, you could add yourself if you want to via the computer with the cable. So I would probably put it in this band because this is a worthless band to me. This 25 megahertz is useless. I'll never use it. Yes, I have used this radio on amateur radio on 12 and 10 and had good reports. They did really good job. So again, it's, you know, I don't just primarily talk on the CB radio. I do a lot of other radio stuff, so I enjoy using radios like this that technically most people wouldn't probably buy it to use as a 10-12 meter radio, but I think it's fun to use these kind of radios. I mean, we can all just go out and spend the big bucks and buy a, you know, fancy Yaesu or ICOM or something, but you can still do the stuff with these radios, and these radios work so good that, you know, the performance is there. And, you know, it depends on the operator. You know, it's hard to, you got that big fancy radio sitting there, it's going to be hard to go away from it, especially when you spend a lot of money on it. So I get that part of it too, but these are good radios, you know, they work good and stuff. So no problems with anything so far with them. Everything seems to be solid. A lot of the same features and stuff as before. So if you've had one of these before, you know, you like it, you'll like this one. One thing I don't talk about a lot, I think I made a video on one of these a while back. This is a useful piece of gear here. Now this would be, of course, for your CB band only. This also helps stop interference from coming back to your receiver. You know, outside interference from anything outside of this band class, you know, 26.9 to 27.4, essentially channel 1 through 40. So what this thing does is it's going to attenuate things outside of that, you know, filter bandwidth there. It's a little less aggressive, you know, and it has like a sharp cutoff a little bit above here and a little bit below here. So it still allows a little bit, you know, you could still kind of expect to hear some stuff above channel 40 and below channel 1, but slightly after that it's a big sharp drop off, and I think I showed that once on a video on the spectrum analyzer. But I mean, 200 watts of power could easily handle this radio. Now I wouldn't say that you should use this on those frequencies, but we all know what people do, so, you know, who am I to say what you should and shouldn't do? I think we all know what we should do and shouldn't do, but again, it comes down to what do you want to do with it. You know, I can't control that. So but you know, they make these in all different bands. You could get one specifically for the 10 meter band or the 12 meter band, and they make them in higher power capability as well. So it's something to think about, you know, that especially some of you guys that only work one band, that may be something to help cut down on some interference coming into the receiver. You know, a lot of times that might be overlooked because it does have a sharp cutoff. So if you had, like, for instance, if this was hooked up, I'm assuming we're not going to hear the NOAA weather band at all, because that's way outside of the filter bandwidth of this, so it wouldn't allow you to hear that. That's some of the things that, you know, and that's only at 162 megahertz. So just think about all the other noises that we're dealing with our radios these days. It's going to block a lot of that crap out. So it's useful for those reasons too. Not to mention keeping the transmitted, if you had a really like crappy setup and really dirty radio or really poor quality amplifier, it's at least going to attempt to filter out anything that's going above or below, you know, that filter bandwidth. So it works both ways. It's kind of cool, but not everybody's into that kind of stuff. I had a lot of fun testing it, and I was testing some low pass filters and stuff. Somewhere I have a video on that. Alright, so we're just going to jump in and get yours set up here. I'm going to bring up the service mode here in a second. Should be coming up now. There it goes. So get that squared away. So what I want to do is, I'll just kind of give a quick rundown of what I'm going to do. I'm not going to sit here and, this is going to be about 50. That's going to be about 1. That's going to be about 3.9 something. It's annoying when it does that on the FM. This is going to be about 20 watts. This is your AM power high if you didn't know that. This is going to be about 1 watt. This would be 96%. 96%. This one will be about 24-ish on the third order intercept point, which is a good level. We can actually just do that right now. We'll test it first. I'm assuming these are not so great. It's only about a 14 or so is how they come out of the factory, so it's kind of lacking. Whoops, it's not a 6-pin, it's a 4-pin. Yeah, so we'll figure this out here in a second. Actually, I'm set up right now for a 2-tone. That's pretty cool. Didn't realize that. So There's my two-tone right now. Let's get it up there so you can see it. Yeah. My peak table, I'm going to match the amplitude of 1 and 2. You can hear my German shepherds out there chewing on their bones. My wife gave them each like one of those big knotted bones with like the griddle on the outside and on the inside. They just love them. So that's how it looks when you match the two tones. It's kind of distorted looking. I have it set a little more like that, you can see. So what we're going to do is hit this. Let's see, it's about 14.5, so we'll just fix that up for you now. You can actually hear you can hear kind of the distortion sound in the transmitter, and it goes away as that number increases. You technically don't hear the two-tone at all anymore. So, and it comes out beautiful right here. So you can see how much more rounded and nice it is. So it's looking really nice. So that's how it is there, and this is how it was before. I mean, you can take it farther. That's really good there, but you know, obviously then we start to see some of that voltage characteristic appear on the waveform, and I think that's too much. So this does have that voltage doubling device in it, so it is sending more voltage to the MOSFETs, which in turn give me more power, but that's about where it was before, somewhere in there. And I can literally hear the two-tone in the speaker of the radio, so it's telling you that it's too much. So we turn the numbers up here. Very nice. So very clean, very good. So that part's done. I'll finish up the rest here, and then we'll come back and take a look at the power. I'm not going to make this too much longer. Yeah, they said they would work on getting the radios capable of going a little bit above there, but that's pretty good. I mean, I'm just being picky that I want to see it go over 4K. On the deviation on FM, that's your modulation. So I'm not being, I don't want to be too picky, but I'm assuming they'd have to probably do something in firmware, and I can't, you know, this is obviously me just guessing, but I'm assuming it may be along the same lines as what the other models, popular models, have done with that. Maybe that alignment menu or something. Maybe they'll, well, since this radio already has one, that's not really an issue. It's more or less just maybe that firmware updating tool. Maybe they might use something, they might design something close to what the factory did for some of their own radios. That would be kind of cool if they did that, though, because you never know what they could come up with later with these, and the stuff they can do with firmware is pretty crazy these days with the updates and stuff. I like it. So let's take a look here and see. So I set you at 20. We're going to set this at 1. I don't expect you to ever run it down at 1, but I just like to give you some fluctuation, I guess. So now we're going to do the AM. So I'll just show this really quick just because. So really low right now. When you turn that carrier down, the modulation really gets low. Dog just dropped the bone. It's too much. Okay, so that's good. This is how it looks on the middle. Top and bottom look good, so again, I don't think anybody would really run it that low. I know I wouldn't, but okay, this is on AM on the higher power setting, so we'll just quickly adjust this. And that's how that looks now. It looks pretty good. Zoom in on it. Okay, so come out of of this and go here. Take a look at it now there. Can actually do this a little bit, get my reference up a little bit more. So we're looking good. Now notice there's a little bit of some artifact there. I did talk to them about that. I do notice that. And my correction for that is to run the gate option in the radio. Now in the service mode you can't use the gate option, so it doesn't give you the ability. So what will happen is when we come out of the service mode and go into the standard mode into 8.405, the gate mode's on now, and you can see it's a really nice clean output down. So if we modulate that, it's pretty much the same. So it's looking good, looking really good. So you could actually go a little lower on the carrier, I think, than 20. Like I could back it down some. And that's probably the more preferred spot there. So what's that? It's like about 16, 14 to 16. I'm going to see what 16 looks like. So there's 16. Let's see, it really cranks up and then it catches it, and that's normal. The way they adjust the timing on the AMC in these, that's why they do so much power, and they give you that swing, because it grabs it and then it holds it with a constant tone. So with your voice, these radios are a little, you know, less forgiving. The AMC is timed a little less responsive. So yes, that's why you get the big modulation out of them, and that's why they do that higher power than some of the other ones. So, you know, it's, you know, they're marketing it towards a certain type of operator, and if that's not you, then, you know, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. I could go either way. I don't really need it, but if I have it, it's okay too. So, you know, I'm on the fence either way. I like radios, so I appreciate them for what they are, no matter what they are. Let me find a mic here, and we'll take a quick look at the final power. Alright, so I'm not using like anything special for a microphone here. Just this CM4 is what I'm using, so probably a different mic would sound a lot better, but this is what I have. So here's the sideband. RF power's all the way up. This is 28405. Upper sideband, I think. Let's find that out in a minute. Yep, upper sideband. So I have the radio set to the 4K setting, so the 4K option. So we can see there the two boxes from the center to the right. You go 2 full boxes over, that's 4 kilohertz. So we're somewhere within that bandwidth, that transmit passband. We're not taking up really any more than that, because you can see that everything else is below that 0 dBm line, which is basically zero power. You know, when we have negative dBm, that's not going to do anything to anything. So anything above there, they're starting to see positive numbers. So it's well within that range. Power wise, you know, keep in mind the radio is pretty hot right now. I just got done with the tones and all that stuff. So, you know, they are going to do, well, I mean, it is going to do a little less power right now when it's heated up, but you know, when you want a clean sideband, you have to limit it a little bit. You cannot just let it go full on. And I guarantee when this thing cools down a little bit, it will hit closer to that 90-100 mark more consistently. But again, when you speak into a radio, your voice is changing a lot, the amplitudes of your voice, and the radio is, you know, the power is ramping up and going down. Notice I'm not screaming and yelling and hollering and making weird sounds with my voice. The radio's just kind of doing what it should. And you can also see that here there's different word characteristics and tones in my voice that push the spectrum analyzer to go up higher. The taller the wave that you see there, the display, as that information goes up, that's giving you more power. So that's what that is. It's just this is about a 49 dBm mark up here at the top. So 49 dBm is a good amount of power. AM, so showing about 21, right around 20 to 21 or so. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Check, check. Hello. 1, 2, 1, 2. So again, these radios do have a little more spicy, like AM modulation, than a lot of the other ones that come out of this factory. So for someone that's into a little more spicy AM, this is a better option for you than some of the other ones. If you know, that's if you want it like that, you know. This is the one to get for that. If you like sideband performance and you also want a little more spicy AM, where it's just a little, I'd say, you know, it's going to give you a little bit more of that punch versus some of the more, how can I say it, like more ham radio-ish style radios, I guess, is you see a lot of those on this channel too. So it's good though. I mean, it's, you know, it's what somebody wants. Obviously there's a demand for this type of radio. I'll set it to about 16. Okay, there's about 16 watts right there. So that was kind of the sweet spot that I found. And that is about here. So I don't know if I showed the power in AM yet, but about 16 watts, and then, you know, that's how you're getting that high level of swing right there from the 16 watt mark. That's because the AM's a little more spicy on these radios, you know. There's really no really other way to put it, you know. So they are what they are. People really like them. And there's a lot, unfortunately, there's always a lot of controversy with this type of radio for whatever reason. I don't know, but I stay out of all that stuff and just focus on what I'm doing here and get the radio set up. So that's pretty much it for you, Gary. I'm gonna let it cool down. She's pretty warm. She's not burning my hand or anything, but you know, as I leave it on there, it's starting to get pretty hot. So you can see. You know, the heatsink gets hot. These radios dissipate heat very well, so you don't have to worry about it ever overheating. I wouldn't ever say you need to put a fan on this or anything. It's fine. That big old heatsink on the back's doing its job. That's what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to get hot. And also, I swear, when I had one of these, the first one I got when I was testing it, I swear I could feel some heat kind of flowing out of the bottom fins on the cover. Not so much out of the top, but I could feel some heat coming out of the bottom too, which is a good thing too. So let me hook this up to an antenna. I haven't been on the air at all today, so we'll see what we can hear really quick. So again, that's how you do 12 meter. You have to go to the VFO, and then I have it set right now for 1 kilohertz and 100 hertz.
Plus Texas. 1-1 in Central Alberta, Roger. Okay, it's just what I said, because well, I'd have to go out and undo the. See, I have a line, and I know the proper length and out.
And this antenna is only like 5 feet off the ground, and I'm pointing west.
To another antenna, and I don't have the eastern rhombic on, but I can find it. I'll go outside and put it on. So W1VD Oregon. East Coast is down. Central part of the country is up. Everybody's over S9, and Pacific, they're up in the 20 overs down there. Roger down in New Zealand, 20, 22, 25 over, and he won't stand still. He's wobbling around. So W1VDE, thank you, gentlemen. Thanks, Roger. Very good.
Must be really early in the morning in New Zealand.
ID KE5 fake news. On Jim in Southeast Texas. Victor Yankee 2, Charlie Alpha Kilo, Prince Edward. V60AG, Central Alberta.
That's in Canada, running pretty good. That's pretty much it for that band, so we'll get out of this and we'll go back to the band option, And we'll just go to this band. I need to switch antennas, but I want to show you something really quick here. Actually, I'm going to leave the VFO the way it is. I just want to see what happens, and that's not going to work out good for you. So I'm going to move that to 5K, I guess, and the band option is probably what you want. You can always change it. We can go. I recommend using the VFO option on this radio all the time, though. So if you're going to use that, if you're going to go to the VFO and you want to switch how it works, like say you want to go from this frequency quickly to somewhere else, then you switch this. The CHS is your channel selector. Go to 1 megahertz and then dial it up wherever you want to go. Now we're on this band, and we can go back in now and say that you want to make that one now, I don't know, 10K, and you want to make this one, the COA, 5K. So now that's what we have. So for whatever reason we're on an odd frequency here, but I can fix that with the 1K. So again, you know, the VFO option does work on this radio, although it's a little it's better than not having it at all, but you know, I'm gonna put that there. So I wish it was a little bit easier to navigate, but it's okay. I would use this radio in this method over any other method. So, and my Moseley antenna does not pick up any signals on this band because it's not made for the band. So what is this? I'm pointing west, so we'll see what we can pick up. I haven't been on the radio at all today, so I have no clue even what's out here. It seemed like a whole heck of a lot. I was hoping maybe I'd hear some New Zealand or something on this one, because they use this frequency.
Calling CCDX, USY 27515, USY 27515 for possible contact. 9 World Radio 427 Alberta.
If those Jamaica guys are out there, he's going to get a lot of interference from them. Alright, well, I got you all set here, so I'm going to get it boxed up for you, and maybe if the UPS man's feeling generous today, maybe he might take it today. Thanks, Gary, 73.